Hey Nick, trying to get back to you on this Evans Pritchard bit on what you call the flow of history, and I'm going to do take a little bit different of attack than just wanting to state uh, what Moody's thinks about what's going on. I'm going to approach it like this: Moody's is the problem. Okay. Moody's is the problem. That Moody's is the problem. Okay. Moody's caused the problem. Okay. I mean, if you want to try to deny that, try to deny it, Nick. Okay. Moody's is the one that was supposed to be able to evaluate risk. Okay. And Moody's, Standard & Poor's, and Fitch's, and the other independent agencies failed. While they were failing, we had Bernanke and Greenspan allowing them to fail and encouraging them to fail and discouraging the Congress from taking any action that would have regulated the industry that was growing up. You know, the Brooksley Born parable, she said, wait, there's all these things that they're creating. They're taking the money supply and they're creating all these things that are a threat to the people and the people's money. Where was Moody's? They were in there telling the Congress, don't listen. Bernanke, Greenspan, Summers, Rubin, Moody's. The money establishment. They are the problem, Nick. Okay? I don't understand why you don't have a problem with them being a problem. Them controlling through their corporate superstructure the other information besides the public opinion. Controlling the public opinion by controlling the media, the medium. So, as long as I've got this free speech medium, I'm going to keep using it myself. But the idea that the people who are relying upon their governments to provide, for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that all those people are going to suffer because Moody's doesn't like some ratio of debt to GDP that they're responsible for creating in the first place? Come on, Nick. Get real. Get real, Nick. When Henry Ford said if the people understood the monetary system, there'd be a revolution in the morning, and in that revolution, they'd be stringing up those guys from Moody's. That's what they'd be doing. They're going to tell the sovereign governments what it's going to cost them to try to maintain civility, even to the point where civility may not stand, where social unrest is going to become the order of the day, Nick? For what? From what? Okay? They've put us into the debt deflation cycle. How? By taking money, the money supply being created, the trillions of dollars that were created by the investment and shadow banking sectors of finance, and creating trillions of dollars of worthless nothings called mostly structured investment vehicles, Nick. Okay? They got the accounting rules on their side, mark to market. Okay? Every year you get to mark up your assets. Every quarter, actually, not every year. Every quarter you get to mark up your assets, and this is a big run-up. How much are you worth? How much can you borrow? Let's create more money. Let's run it up. Let's run it up. It's all more debt. None of it going to anything productive, Nick. None of it producing any jobs, none of it producing any sustainable economic activity, none of it. And they're the ones that had it. They're the ones that controlled it. What did they do with it? They created all that junk, toxic assets. And then, and you know it's true, and you've said it's true, Nick, they went into the Congress and they said this whole system is going to come crashing down in a way that you folks never saw or ever imagined unless you change the accounting rules. So they got everything built up, and they changed the accounting rules, and they're not letting it come down, the result of which is, this is important, Nick, the result of which is they're all still there. And every one of the owners of all those toxic assets are collecting the debt service payments on all that stuff. Where's that coming from? It's coming from the money supply, Nick. Okay? And that means that there's no money supply available to make jobs. There's no money available for wages. There's no money available for keeping on earning your 401k. You see, Nick? So those are the guys that did it, and those are the guys that are doing it. And it's, to me, unsatisfactory, very incomplete to sit around and say, this is what Moody's says. Who's holding Moody's accountable for their failure, for letting this thing happen? That's what I want to know. Who's holding Moody's accountable? Standard & Poor's and Fitch. They're going to tell the governments. After they screw up the economy to the point where private businesses and corporations can no longer afford to maintain their debt levels, the debt levels that they had taken out and that they were running on. Why, Nick? Sorry, but I got to throw it in here because all money is created as debt, and if there's an economy growing, it's all debt, okay? And doing it with low interest rates, so it sounds like it's a good idea, and now they're out there threatening to raise interest rates, okay? But they did that to the point where private businesses and corporations could no longer afford to keep paying that. So you got obligations. What are your obligations? You got your fixed costs, your debts. You got your variable costs, your employees. Let's cut those employees. You cut them as much as you can until you can't do business anymore, and then you just shut her down. And that's where we're at, Nick. They've laid them all off. Only the first round, you know, because you know why? Because, you know, think about what the employment rate would be if they hadn't changed the mark-to-market rules. But the fact that they run it up that way, and then changed gears, changed the rules, and then kept it up there, Nick, that's insanity, is what that is. That's monetary, fiscal, economic, financial insanity. So we need a new money system, first of all, where all the money is not created as debt. That's the first thing that we need. But in order to get there, like I said earlier, you know, we need to have monetary sovereignty manifested. Manifestation of monetary sovereignty. Governments are in control. That's the only way, Nick. It's the only way that we can make any progress. You know, to me, those are the things that you got to weigh at this point. You know, those are the things that you got to weigh. You got to weigh the bottom of the debt deflation cycle. And in order to see where it is, you have to take a look at all those toxic assets. And I do have to say, you know, that the values of those things are coming down, but they're still only worth about 25 cents on the dollar. I always say 23, you know, but I heard Dr. William Black on TV saying they're worth 25%. I guess I'll give him the 2 cents on the dollar, 25 cents on the dollar, he said. And those things are gone. All the money going into those things are gone. We don't have that debt anymore, okay? And then we fix the monetary system. You would have thought, Nick,